reprehensible. They expect the righteous people, the upright, those with a conscience. They expect those people to hate them, and if you give them what they expect, then that's it. They stay on footing, they stay on track, and nothing unexpected is coming their way. But if you genuinely love them and you say, look, I'm going to get up close and personal with you. Sometimes, like I said, love your enemy, but there is times that you've got to kill people. I hate violence as much as anybody, but, if you get up close to them, kind of like Churchill, stay close to your friends, but close to your enemies, this kind of idea, they're always threatened because you're nearby. If spontaneously God puts it on your heart to grab someone by the throat, I'm not going to name names, but use your own imagination who you think is the most evil, vile out there, and if you're sitting next to him at a banquet and the Spirit of God says, look, grab this guy by the neck and break his neck, well, it wasn't murder. You acted spontaneously, kind of like what Moses did. So, though I'm not saying I'm not a proponent of that either. I hate violence. It's just, in the name of protecting others, though, I believe that God doesn't hold us against us. And let's remember, when it comes to being armed, what Jesus, before he went to the cross, and he told the disciple when he knew his time was coming, and he knew that the Roman guards were coming to take him with a mob of the hypocrites, these Pharisees and these haters. You could say they were Jews, but Jesus said, look, you got Jews that are devout, that are very holy and close to the heart of God, and then you got this synagogue of Satan that's under the name of Jews, and we've got to understand that distinction. So yeah, there might have been Jews there under the the banner of being Jews, under that pretense. So anyhow, when he knew his time was short, he told the disciple, look, do you have a sword? We need a sword. Sell anything you need to pick up the sword. This is Jesus Christ. This is the king of pacifism. Nobody hated violence more than Jesus. But he knew this was to signify what was going to happen afterward. We got this kid up here at the Umpqua College targeting the Christians. If you deny you're a Christian, then he'd spare your life and shoot you in the leg. Just to disable you, I guess, is his psycho mind. But if you said you were a Christian, I guess he, from the stories, he was shooting people in the head. So you tell me, all you gun grabbers out there, if these kids don't have the right to pack heat, okay, screw you. I don't know what else to tell you. You're anti-American. If you don't like it, you should move to China or Mexico, okay? Get the hell out of America. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. But understand this, that people have a God-given right to defend themselves. And this is what I see going on in Syria with Russia now. They're protecting innocent people. They're the ones that say, no, you have a right to stay in your home and be safe and secure in your effects, just like our Fourth Amendment. And so, Americans aren't going to do, you're not going to see mass, if we have, we break out with some evil terrorist group like these guys over, in Syria. If that happens in America, you're going to see Americans armed to the teeth, and you're going to see that they're going to whip their ass. They're not going to get far at all. They're never going to be able to form any kind of big assembly, any kind of grouping, where they're concentrated. Never. That's never going to happen in America. So while Russia, they are, now taking the high road and putting these people down and, becoming the saviors of the Syrian people, whether this spreads worldwide or not, I don't know. But if we've got these black hats in our government and the white hats in our government aren't doing anything to subjugate these people, then maybe we do need someone like Vladimir Putin. The dictator that he may be, he's pretty well liked by his people. That's it. Look at the popularity with the people, the approval from the people. Look what he's doing financially for his people. Look at the standard of living. Does he want to raise the standard of living for his people? Is he egalitarian? Look at these factors. Because these people hate these New World Order crowd, these evil black hats. They despise egalitarian leadership. They hate it. They absolutely do. They do not want, they want indebtedness. They want subservience. And this is why they indebt nations and states and individuals. This is how they get their subservience, okay, is through the debt. And these are haters of humanity. They hate anything that is good. Okay, all that is good is an anathema to these people. They hate it. They hate the idea of justice. They hate mercy. They hate equity. They hate peace. They hate human beings. Okay, these people are monsters. Inside these people, if you could see their soul, they wouldn't look human. They're going to a very, very bad place. And underground, they will mutate into funky creatures, okay? That's it. They're going to mutate. They're going to get really ugly. And they're going to be just, at each other's throats all the time. Can you imagine the nightmare these people are going to have just being stuck with each other? The Janet Yellens, the Ben Bernankes, the Alan Greenspans, the George Bushes, the Bill Clintons. All these people, okay? I can't remember the last time we had a decent Republican or Democratic president. Now, Democratic, the last guy I liked was Jimmy Carter. Say what you want about him, but he was an egalitarian. He believed that housing should be a human right. I love the man. I respect the man greatly. JFK, I could care less if that guy was a Republican or Democrat. All I know is he was an egalitarian. He wanted to lift the standard of living in America, and he knew it would spread around the world like a good thing. Prosperity, security, freedom, liberty. That's what you want, a high standard of living. We want all those patents, all those shelved patents. This comes down to money too. There's a big social ill economically too. Is this patent sitting on the shelf, free energy technology, clean energy technology sitting there, and it's all about money. That if we release this patent, that goes against my industry. My fungible asset is X, oil, let's say. And if you go to Y energy, then that nullifies, and that renders my fungible asset irrelevant. They don't want those free energy technologies out there. So every single thing, abortion, it all comes down to money. The sale of the little baby's organs and all this. It's all about the money, isn't it? You see how sordid and sick it is? You see why God cannot tolerate this forever, and He's not going to. That's what ultimately is going to happen. Some people think it's going to be a civil war. I don't know. There might be skirmishes in America, but it's not going to, I don't see any kind of, well-organized militia concentrating itself and fighting the black hats. I don't see it, because we've already got white hats in the military too that are just saying no. They're just dragging their feet. They're saying, it doesn't sound right that we should be supporting these terrorists, black hats, so we're not going to do it. And who was the Air Force guys saying that they're not going to be the Air Force for Al-Qaeda? They're not going to do it. They're just not going to do it. So you guys are like a turtle on your shell, and you're very angry, you're very upset, you're enraged. This is Satan, but you can see his power going out. These guys might do there might be some big event, but I don't know what it's going to be. These black hats are just angry as hell, because whether they know it or not, they are one and the same with that satanic spirit. Okay, they are. By their behavior, they are consenting to this system. They're saying, yes, this is okay. We justify this, that we've got, all these law enforcement agencies set up, and, yeah, you could say these people are in their jobs because they want to protect and serve, and these are the defenders of our society. But we know, bottom line, we can get them to do whatever we want, because we write the paychecks. We control the money printing presses. We have that great power, that great satanic power of the money printing, that exclusive privilege. You understand how this thing cannot go on in perpetuity, that God is going to lose his cool. That's exactly what's predicted. So if you want to get ready for the world of tomorrow and what really is to come, understand that this good guy is going to win. That you want to be one that hungers and thirsts for righteousness, and you want to be one that when God says, look, I want it your way. So how exactly is it going to be if you had it your way? What things would you eliminate and delete from this current system? What things would you add? Okay? That's what each one of us individually has to ask ourselves, down to the smallest detail. We don't want to be caught off guard and say, well, this is a big question, and it's just too weird. Look, ponder it. I know it's kind of offbeat. It's out of the ordinary. It's very difficult in a way to say, well, it's so hard I can't see. It's kind of like the description the Apostle Paul gave us. At first we see dimly as though through a mirror, but someday we will we will see completely clearly, just as we have been completely, God understands our heart and mind. He understands us way better than we understand ourselves or any other person can understand us. He understands us that way. That's why we need a Savior. We need a God. We need Jesus Christ to come as a man, half man. So he knows everything about being human. He knows all the temptations, and he's able to forgive us for that. That's why he is so gracious and merciful, is because he knows we need that level of grace and mercy, and he brought it. He knows now, since he visited, he knows that we know that God knows, because Jesus Christ can also now, by extension, give God firsthand information on what exactly it's like to be these little meat bags, have these little meat bag bodies, this carnal, animal-like body, where the DNA has been all fouled up from the original sin, the fall of man. And now we have death. This is where death came in. This is the whole mortal body. That's what mortal means. It means death. It's going to die. It's not eternal. But the rest of us, our essence, the heart, the mind, the spirit, the soul, our life force is eternal. God owns those things. And those things are in his hands. So nobody can take those things from you. Only he has that authority. And this is a good, loving God that wants the best, not for some people, but for everybody. So when it comes down to economic discussions with people, be well armed. Understand the basic precepts of capitalism. Understand the basic precepts of, the law of supply and demand. Understand the why and wherefore under any true capitalistic philosophy. Your currency should go up in value if you're making progress. You understand? That's called stable currency. That's called sound currency. It just means that the people are getting their way. We, the people, are getting our way, and we're not allowing special interest groups to manipulate markets and fix prices, because that's the reason why your currency has been destroyed. It's been happened gradually. So they manipulate a market like the housing market, and this is how the big banks get in there, and this debt just grows exponentially, and people believe, now they got people believing that high housing prices are a good thing. Hey, it's benefited me. The equity in my house went up for no good reason. In real estate school, you know what they call that? They call it an unearned increment. And that sounds suspiciously like the term in the Bible called ill-gotten gain, okay? And you want nothing to do with it, okay? Think ahead. See the end from the beginning. See where this all leads for your children, for your grandchildren, for your brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, and nieces, on and on and on, strangers, friends. I understand this is not a good, high housing prices are not a good. Don't be an idiot. Don't be a fool. But yet, look, I'm talking to the wind, okay? Because people just can't get it through their heads. I mean, hey, look, dude, the only one thing I want in my life is the equity of my house to go. I don't care how it happens. I don't care who's manipulating the market. If the investors go in there and one aggressive investor can just destroy your town. They can just jack your price of your housing up until you're just begging to get out of there, okay? And then you run to another town, but they're hot on your heels, and they're going to come in there and manipulate the market, fix the prices. All these investors and gentrifiers, speculators and house flippers. They're all part and parcel of the same group, okay? And they're evil. Whether they're aware of it or not, they're evil. That's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this. If you know that you consciously know, okay, and even the unwitting, I mean, at some point, ignorance is not going to be an excuse, okay? You've got to say, why did I choose to be ignorant? Because ignorance is bliss, and I went with that, so I never sought to find out just how wretched and wicked the mortgage industry has gotten, what's going on out there, why the debt never seems to go away, and where this thing is going to end. Is it going to be a civil war? Because all through history, if you read history, when you oppress a people enough, especially unwarranted, oppression, we don't deserve it. It's not like we're being lazy. It's not like you don't have this giant willing workforce, every nation's greatest asset, because nothing gets done if you don't have a willing workforce, but we don't have that. And then you want to blame the welfare recipients out there? Let's look at the people stealing the wealth, the criminals out there that are just stealing it. They're not asking permission. They don't have to go out and fill forms out at the welfare department to see if you're poor enough to qualify for, social welfare, right? No, no, they just take. They just say, look, you know what? Don't worry who gave me authority. I'm just doing this thing. I'm a white collar guy. I mean, the law enforcement, they bow down to me. I write their paychecks. I mean, I'm a politician. All these people just